thousands of calls over our IP networks. Your dedication has inspired us. That's why our ESI Net goes beyond industry standards, not only i3 compliant, but designed to adapt to future development for a network you can count on when it matters most. Learn more at indigital.net.
Here in Greenville County, we have 8 different places where a 911 call can be answered.
It is the largest county in South Carolina. It's a challenge.
The type of information that a telecommunicator gets from Radius Plus is location-based technology. You can see where the caller is, if they have a medical issue, if they speak a different language. They're immediately able to text to that caller in their native language. It reduces response times because it immediately gets first responders where they need to be.
If Within the Trenches has ever taught you something, open your eyes to what it is like to be a 911 dispatcher, or has inspired you to become one, then help support us and join our Patreon. Get exclusive bonus content, one-of-a-kind swag, discounts on merchandise, ad-free early access to new episodes, and much more. To join, please visit patreon.com/WTT podcast. And if you're an industry partner, we have something for you as well. And now, for the show.
This is Jordan, and you're listening to the Code 7 Podcast Network.
Warning. This episode contains the 3 A's of podcasting: adult content, adult language, and awesomeness. You've been warned.
Welcome to Within the Trenches, true stories from the 911 dispatchers who live them.
Hey, what's going on? This is Ricardo with the Code 7 Podcast Network, and this is going to be Within the Trenches, true stories from the 911 dispatchers who live them. We are currently live from San Antonio, Texas for the APCO 2021 conference, and it has been pretty excellent to be in here. You know, we're here right now in the Expo Hall, and we've got people that are walking around all over the place. This is day 2, and this broadcast has been sponsored by InDigital as well as RapidDeploy, and I have a guest here with me. I've got Todd Komanetsky, and he is the VP of Strategic Partnerships. How's it going, man?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Yes. So tell me, if you could, to start out, for those who are watching right now and those who are listening, what is RapidDeploy? Like, what all do you do? What is some of the background?
So RapidDeploy as a company was founded by first responders in South Africa, and we moved to the U.S. and opened offices 4 years ago. And we've been on a journey with our customers. We started working as a CAD, so a full dispatch platform.
Yeah.
And then we quickly found that our customers, particularly in some of the statewide applications, were very interested in having modern data in a tactical map connected to their call-taking experience. And so our Radius products are just that. So all the information we can have, situational awareness around the actual 911 call, automatically indexed and presented to the call taker as they're taking the call. So in those moments when those calls are super urgent and really life-threatening, they have as much data as we have available to them.
So what does it mean to you yourself? I mean, when you think about data and being able to give it a visualization for those, and I ask this because when I was in dispatch, there were, our calls, our call volume, like all the numbers of calls that we would take, and it was just in a teletype off a dot matrix printer, and it was so boring, it was just the numbers. But now, you've got the technology such as, coming from you all, and you can actually visualize this to be able to put it into so many different things. So what does it mean to not only you, but I guess the rest of the team, the company, to be able to allow dispatchers, call takers, deputy directors, all those in public safety to actually visualize what this rich data can do?
It's a great question. And we started with what I consider situational awareness data. So we're a massive Esri partner. They're fundamental technology to our platform. We've made it so that any Esri connection, any Esri hosted service can be added to our platform. There's no cost to do it. It takes about a minute to 2 minutes to add an Esri service. So now we kind of open things up. So traffic and weather, but also where cameras are or where defibrillators are with our partner like PulsePoint. All of this is just data that's already in existence. So how do we make it contextual around an actual phone call? Because that's the hard problem, is at the last minute when you're searching for the login for the last thing that you want to try to get to find where a PulsePoint AED is. If those integrations aren't there and it's not automatic, the data is less likely to be leveraged during the immediate emergency.
Yeah.
So for us, that journey with our customers has been really asking them what they want and what they want to see for data. And so going through that on the tactical map, that's moved quite quickly to our integrations directly with Apple and Google. So how do we bring location data directly in? Then we began moving further down the stream, and we started talking with companies like Vehicle Telematics. So we're one of the first ones to do OnStar data directly to public safety. We've rolled that out in the state of California. And now OnStar crash data is being surfaced directly to the call taker as they're speaking to the OnStar triage person. So being able to have that data, instead of conveying it all by voice, to have it instantly available and in a form that can be used in the rest of the organization has been incredibly powerful.
And it's not only exciting, but it also makes me jealous in a way. and hear me out.
If you rewind to where you were and you're like, if I had all this, what would I have done?
That's exactly exactly it. That's why I always say, hold on, hear me out. That's where my jealousy comes from sometimes, because I see all this amazing technology and just like the stuff that you're talking about as well, and it makes me wish that I was still in dispatch, because I would be able to, take advantage of that and really implement it, put it into, these real life case study type scenarios to really use it.
Yeah, but that said, change is really hard. You've worked in the dispatch center.
Yes.
There's a process, a policy, a protocol for every single thing they do. Mm-hmm. We can't just show up and say, oh, here's this new thing. Like, how do we work with them to make sure that their processes, their protocols know how to deal with the data? So that's been a huge focus around RapidDeploy. We have a team of design researchers. They go out, all they do is sit and watch, try to figure out how our user interface can best allow a dispatcher or a call taker to dive deeper on data when they need it. Because if you throw up everything at the same time, it becomes really complicated, right? There's too much. Like, they don't need to see every trail map and traffic and weather all at the same time. They need it when it's relevant.
Exactly.
So making it so it's really easy to turn on and off when that's available and when it's necessary, I think has been one of the things our customers speak loudly about.
And I think one of the good things too is, not only are you listening to the customers and getting that feedback and really implementing a lot of those, you also have a lot of coworkers, a lot of employees that come from the chair.
We do.
So that alone, I mean, and please, speak on this as well. That has to help out a lot when you're trying to implement or strategize on a lot of what it is that you do.
Yeah, and it's interesting, as we've built our organization and brought people in, having those subject matter experts, the people that live the work, combined with people that are out creating modern software and using best practices of how to do cloud-based, browser-delivered software, having those two not fight it out, so to speak, but really be like, hey, look at this amazing idea, and then the subject matter experts like, yes, but here are these scenarios. You really need to think about the whole solution.
Yeah.
And we do that also in partnership with our customers. So we have design researchers that go out and sit with them. We have customer success people that talk with them about every change that we do. What do you think? How did that work? What was successful? And allows us to iterate and get better.
See, and I love that when companies do that, because it puts you in also a real better light with those in public safety, that you do care. And I don't want to work with a company who's going to just tell me what it is that we're going to end up doing. Here's an example. When I was working for in digital, when I was still working with them, when I was an industry partner in that sense, I went in to train on some call handling as well as texting, and I said who I was, who I worked for, but then I immediately followed it up with, for 13 and a half years, I was also a dispatcher on the line supervisor. And one of the dispatchers said to me, I'm so glad that you told me that, because if you were just some tech guy coming to tell us how to do our job, you would have never made it out of here alive. So it's awesome to have those who come from the chair work for all of you and really bring that user experience from them, and
100%.
implement so much more.
No, 100%. I mean, we have two big guiding principles in the company, and I mean, a lot of companies have a motto and a mantra that they want to work with, and I've been very impressed both with the leadership of the company, but also the organization as a whole. Reduce response times and increase situational awareness. That's it. Very simple. So I meet with partners all the time that have incredible technology, but my question is always, does it fit those two things? We need to solve this first. There's lots of things we could do, but having a mission and a focus really sharpens why we're doing something. So everything we do, we just kind of put into those two lenses, like, how does this reduce response time? Does it increase the situational awareness for either the person dispatching or the first responder going into the field? Like, what do they need to know?
Right.
So
when you think of, just strategy, I guess in general, but a lot of what the company is doing and where it seems to be moving, I mean, even just a couple of years from now, like, where do you see the technology in 911 going?
Well, we were in the cloud from the beginning.
Yes.
Our co-founder Steve Rauscher loves to tell the story of the first show he went to, and where everyone told him he can go home. No, 911's never going to the cloud.
Exactly.
And fast forward, everybody here has some aspiration or some offering in the cloud. So it's going to keep going. But I think the availability of data, the barriers between data and public safety are being broken down.
Yeah.
And as that happens, more and more becomes possible. So, I mean, I don't know if it's when you look at everyone's like, where's artificial intelligence going to be, and those things will come, but that's not the focus, right? The focus right now is, as data barriers break down, how do we bring things in really relevant, highly contextual, so you can do your job easier when you're in the chair.
Now, when you think, kind of just touching really quick on AI and stuff, do you think that there will be a point where the human aspect of dispatching call taking will cease?
I can't imagine that future specifically. I think the recommendations for humans are going to get better and better. So, I mean, OnStar is a fantastic example. I mean, today, the data goes to the OnStar center, they triage the call, and they call 911. Well, they're transmitting their crash severity index. Once public safety says an 87 is a very known outcome, now they can start changing their response based on that data. So when they see all the airbags have been deployed and it's a crash severity index of X, how does that change their behavior? So now their recommendations are coming faster and faster and faster. So I think the signals and the information coming in are just going to be easier to process. But no, I don't think it's going away immediately. But look at gunshot detection has been widely used, and now that those signals, programmatic requests for service, are going directly to the vehicles. Some of these signals will be deemed important enough to immediately act on.
Right.
It just depends on really how that change management happens.
Man,
it's gonna be
exciting
fun.
times.
It's gonna be fun.
Yes. Where do you see a lot of, I guess, just more of the company? Like, what is it that other things that you're doing now, and even just within, the rest of this year? What are some of the things you're excited about? How about that? We'll go with that, as we kind of talked about the future. But what are some of the things you're excited about? We're first excited to be back live in person. So this has been a whole new experience for everybody.
Right. Getting back and actually seeing our customers, getting on site with customers and collaborating. We've got a couple of big deployments that are coming up over the next year. But I think from a technology perspective, there's been a tremendous amount of work on our CAD and on our mobile solutions, and seeing those enter the field and really see taking data that comes in on the call taker role, go through the dispatcher role, and make it all the way to the first responder. Like, seeing that continuity of data all the way through I think is going to change how a lot of people start to see it's not just information one person has, like breaking down that silo so the first responder can pull up information. We did a partnership with Medical Alert. So being able to see actual real medic data for the patient you're dealing with, coming through automatically, the ambulance is rolling and you know who you're about to see. Like, that's going to change things.
Wow. Again, exciting times, and we should do an episode later on. Like, we could talk about a bunch of different stuff. We can definitely do a part 2. This has been good.
Well, I'll talk about one more, and that's the really interesting one. Is so far most of our the data is around what we call supplemental call data. So it's everything we know about a call. Rave Mobile Solutions, as you know, we're doing integration with them for their school panic buttons.
Yes.
This is a government regulated signal you have to answer, a programmatic signal that has to be answered by 911. And Florida's going through this right now, right? Alyssa's law has been mandated that all schools will have panic buttons.
Yes.
And so now the 911 centers are all trying to figure out how to bring this data in, change their protocols, respond to a signal that may or may not have any other data with it. What does that do? Right, so this is the first of a number of technologies that are going to start changing. It's not just a voice call; it might be a data call, it might be a video. Like, what are the changes to what a call taker is going to experience? So, as we roll out some of our new features around our call taker solution, I think it's going to be really exciting.
Oh man, well, I'm excited to learn more about all of it as it starts coming out, and the rest of the development. It's going to be excellent. Again. Now we're going into the wrap up of this, and I'm jealous again because there's so much stuff. There's so much awesome stuff that's coming out, and just thank you for being on and talking about this. And I think we definitely have another episode that we could do because there's a lot that we could talk about. So I'm going to look over here really quick for those who are watching and listening. If you have any comments, questions, or you want to be a guest on the show, you can email us, and that's going to be wttpodcast@gmail.com. If you're looking for any bonus content, you can check us out, patreon.com/WTT Podcast. This episode has been sponsored by InDigital as well as RapidDeploy, and thank you, Todd, once again for being on. And this can be seen on Facebook, YouTube, as well as LinkedIn and Twitter, and then you can listen 24/7 on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, your favorite podcasting app, and withinthetrenches.net. Have a good one, everyone. We'll see you in the next one.